Hello there and welcome to another live chapter reading for Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Today I shall be reading from Can Dreams Come True, Book 1 in the Cecily Taylor series by Krysten, Lindsay, Hager. Chapter 1. Sometimes it feels like life is in a perfect rhythm. I don't know if things are actually written in the stars or not, but sometimes it feels that way. Like with me and my boyfriend, Zach Reynolds. From the first moment we met, I felt this connection to him, and honestly, the only other guy I've ever felt the same way about has been my pop star crush, Andrew Holiday. But I guess it was unrealistic to think I could end up with my ultimate crush, and although I felt the connection with Zach, I wasn't sure if we were meant to be together. I've always wondered if the destined to be together feeling is something you know from the get-go, or is it some mystical thing where every part of you syncs up with the other person, and eventually from your personality to your values and innermost truths fit together? Or does the whole soulmate thing, destiny thing not even exist? My best friend Lila thinks basically you have a physical attraction and then, if you're lucky, the rest falls in line and you realise they're the one. My other friend Ali is more practical when it comes to relationships, and she believes it's when you're with someone every day and one day you look over and think, yeah, I could be with this person for the rest of my life. At least that's how it went for her parents, and she is literally the only one in our group whose parents never argue. However, they're not a hand-holdy type of couple, and I want that, but I'm not quite there with Zach yet. Zach's a great guy, but he's more practical than me. I mean, sure, he got me a heart-shaped rose quartz necklace, but even he said, I wanted to get you something you could actually use like a candle, but Lila told me it was dumb. Instead, she picked out the necklace for you. I would have preferred he had picked it out because the heart represented how he felt about me. Plus, I had to admit it took a touch of romance out of the gesture when he told me he used his dad's super saver points to buy it. It's not as if I only like material things or wanting to spend a lot of money on me. It just wasn't super romantic to hear, hey, guess what? I got you for free. But maybe I'm overthinking things. After all, before Zach, I spent all my time drooling over my fantasy crush, Andrew Holiday, the pop singer. Talk about romantic, all his songs were exactly what I'd want my perfect boyfriend to say and feel about me. But stuff like that wasn't realistic, right? Although he had grown up not too far from here, so it wasn't completely out of the question he'd come around to visit. Cecily, hurry up, Lila is waiting for you downstairs, my mum said. I grabbed my book bag and headed downstairs to meet her. Do you like the necklace? Lila asked as I walked down the stairs. Yes, thanks for helping him pick it out. Help? It was all me. He was trying to talk me into using his dad's super saver points on those mini speakers for your phone. I was like, no, dude, trust me. But he thought the heart was perfect, right? I asked. Actually, it was because there was a coupon online which meant it could pay with all the super saver points without having to use any additional cash, she said. But think of all the money he saved and now you guys can go out to dinner. Yeah, not the point, but sure, I guess that's a bonus. Do you think Tanner will say anything when she sees it? I asked. They had dated for a year until he found out she had cheated on him. You know her. The only way she'll see it is if you block her view of a mirror with it. I laughed, sad but true. She barely talks to me since Zach and I started going out. We started walking down my driveway. You mean when she talked bad about you because Zach was into you even though she ruined their relationship by cheating with another guy? Lila asked, rolling her eyes. My face felt warm. It always made me nervous to think about how Zach had taken their breakup. If he hadn't found out about the other guy, well, then they'll still be together. And it would be me watching the two of them walking down the halls together at school. In the back of my mind, I always wondered if I was coming in second to her. Well, she's probably over Zach by now, right? I mean, she couldn't have liked him too much if she cheated on him. Hello, did you see the other guy? Rhett plays bass in Garden Gnome's Attack and he's super hot. I'm sorry, Zach's cute, but Rhett is like another level of hotness. I wouldn't cheat on anyone myself, but I can see how a high school bass player who got to play at the Pumpkin Festival could make you forget your boyfriend's name, Lila said. Musicians have a way of doing that. I'd probably forget my own name if I met Andrew Holiday. I just hope she stops making passive-aggressive comments. I would say I don't know why you don't call her out on it, but I didn't call her out either. She puts herself first. Don't let your guard down. I went to my locker and Zach was waiting for me. Hey, I thought I'd see if you were up for hanging out after school, he said. Want to come over later? I asked. Sounds good, he said. So you're wearing any necklaces or anything today? Glancing down, I realised my necklace had fallen into my sweater and I pulled it out. Awesome, he said, his whole face lit up. See you later. I went to class and the second I went through the door, I got a sinking feeling in my stomach. Not only was Tanner in this class, but so was Zach's previous ex-girlfriend, Harlow Reed. Harlow was exotic looking with auburn hair and grey almond eyes, and she had done some catalogue modelling, and she never let any of us forget it. She had played the part of a spoiled rich girl in the school play too. I had tried out for that part too, but I had to admit she was perfect. But those of us who knew her felt she had pretty much played herself. Harlow always got every part I auditioned for, and even though she didn't throw her victories in my face, I always felt queasy around her. Harlow frowned as I walked in. Hey, Cecily, you're not wearing the orange top, she said. She had let me borrow a shirt of hers I liked, and I was all set to wear it until I saw a pic of her wearing it on her page. Let's just say the shirt appeared 100% different on a girl with big boobs than it did on a little waif like me. There's no way I could wear it without people saying, oh, it looks like the before and after picture in an ad for implants. It's kind of cold today, so I threw on a sweater, I said, and kicked myself for feeling the need to explain myself to her. Why couldn't I just say, this was what I wanted to wear today? Yeah, it totally does look like you just threw it on, Tanner said with a fake smile. Great, I thought my mint green V-neck sweater was cute when I left the house, and now I felt like I'd stumbled out of bed and blindly groped for the first thing I found on the floor. Way to boost my confidence, Tanner. I wished I was the kind of girl who could think of a witty comeback or even channel a mean girl attitude, but instead I sat there with my mouth half open like a hound dog. Whatever, Harlow said. Did you hear Andrew Holliday is going to shoot his next video in Blue Harbour? That stupid rumour is always going around about some singer or movie crew, Tanner said, rolling her eyes. And no one ever comes here. Just because one person shot a video here in the 80s does not mean rock stars are flooding the area. Well, this time there are auditions, Harlow said, and my modelling agent is trying to get me one. Tanner narrowed her eyes. The play Harlow did had gotten a little attention in the local paper. Her parents insisted she lead a normal school life until she hit 18, and then she was free to pursue acting full-time. Wouldn't it be beneath you to do some dumb indie music video if you want to be a serious actress? Tanner asked, raising her eyebrows. It's exposure, Harlow said. Tanner raised her eyebrows and shook her head as if she was above it. I wished Harlow luck and said I hoped it worked out for her. And I did, but partly because the thought of knowing someone who might meet Andrew was making my head swim. I'm totally going if there are open auditions, I said, feeling my heart begin to race. My dream was to be an actress, but between my shyness and the fact I never got the lead in anything, I couldn't see it coming true. It was like I was destined to be behind the scenes. Yeah, well, don't wear that sweater if you want a real chance, Tanner said. My mouth dropped open as our teacher walked into the room and told us to take out our books and read the next chapter silently. As I opened my book, it hit me. I could have come back with, I thought it went well with the necklace my boyfriend bought me. You remember my boyfriend, right? You guys went out, didn't you? But I was too much of an introvert for confrontation. No, instead I would just waste class time coming up with sappy retorts for the next time. But honestly, I knew that if and when, and let's be honest, it would be when, she attacked again, I'd just get confused and the words would get jumbled up. I was too much of an overthinker to shoot from the hip. Instead, I'd internalise her mean words and then hours later come up with a retort I'd never have the guts to say. Guts to use. It was cold and rainy when school got out and Zach offered to drive me home. He suggested we could stop at Mocha Loca first, and unfortunately, Harlow and Tanner overheard him. Zach, can we come too? I'm dying for a white chocolate mocha and a brownie, she said. I tried to internalise the scream that was begging to come out, and Zach shifted uncomfortably. Meanwhile, Tanner was staring at him like he was the last fudge brownie. Sure, he said, and I glared at him. Let's see, how many can we fit in your car? Who's all coming? You know what? Zach said, shifting. I just remembered I have to pick something up for my mum. Guess I don't have time to hang out today, but I can drop you all off there if you want. Tanner frowned. Harlow rolled her eyes. I guess it's better than walking there in the rain, but it means you need a ride from there. She yelled across the hall to Lila's older brother. Hey, Stephen, you busy? Can you give us all a ride to the Mocha Loca and then home? Yeah, why not, he said, getting his books out of his locker. Later, she said. She walked over to his locker. That would have been super awkward, Zach said. but now we can't go to Mocha Loca in case they show up. I shrugged. The library has a little cafe in the back. It's super tiny, but cute, and the view is amazing. There's a cafe in the library? He asked. Yep, I go there all the time. It's a nice place to read. They have those great big leather chairs you can just sink into. Why are you smiling at me like that? Are you making fun of me? No, I just think it's cute you get all dreamy talking about the library and reading. I once asked Hannah what her favourite book was, and she named a magazine. I hated when he brought up the fact that they used to date. It was on my mind a lot anyway, but I always felt like there was some comparison thing going on. Hannah was gorgeous and appeared to be at least 19, while people described me as cute. I wasn't even sure I passed for my own age. 17. People always told me I'd be grateful for looking young when I got older, but who wants to be the girl in the group who always had to have someone else buy her R-rated movie ticket when everyone else got theirs without a problem? Meanwhile, I had to look down and hand my pre-bought ticket over to the movie usher and hoped he didn't care about the theatre's guidelines of not letting minors in R-rated movies. And if my other friend Ali came with us, forget it. Then everyone had to go to a PG-13 movie because she and I together made it obvious that we were not part of the 18 and over crowd. The funny thing was, Ali appeared more like 14 than going on 17, yet she was way more mature than Harlow or Tanner. She might not have as much life experience, but she was definitely smarter than both of them put together. Zach and I walked into the front door where we found Lila. Stephen got talked into taking Tanner, Harlow and some chick for his chemistry class home, but who did he leave to walk in the rain? His own sister. She said. She sighed as her dark brown bangs flew up off her forehead. He just texted how he thought I had a ride. From who? My imaginary friend? We can give you a ride, I said. Is that cool, Zach? He nodded. Aren't you guys doing an ask-school date thing? Yeah, but we can drop you off. Notice I didn't say sure, come along and join us. She rolled her eyes. Haha, I didn't ask. Cecily, are you okay with it? It's pouring out. You're coming with us, I said. Wow, a friend who cares, she said and winked. I think we'll keep her around her, Zach. Yeah, it's a refreshing change of pace, isn't it? He said. Sometimes Cecily says things I wonder if she's for real or being sarcastic. And then I remember, she's not Tanner, Lila said as she and Zach laughed. We dropped Lila off at home and then drove over to the public library. As soon as we walked in, you could smell the old book scent. It was just intoxicating. I could spend my whole life in here just reading and grabbing hot chocolates from the cafe. This had to be the best place to work. It was quiet, peaceful, and well full of books. I loved how the shadows from this dark grey dreary day made the warm golden light from the stained glass lamps seem brighter. There was something about the deep colour of dark wood and green and brown leather which made this place feel warm and cosy. It was an arts and crafts style, and it felt like the perfect cottage to me. I knew most of the teens in Blue Harbour preferred hanging out at each other's houses or going to the teen club downtown, but for me, this was the place. We headed back to the cafe, and there was no one sitting at any of the tables. Zach asked what I wanted. Hot chocolate with extra whipped cream and sprinkles and a mini cheesecake, please, I said. He shook his head. Well, Lila is right. You are different. My face reddened. Why? I usually get coffee orders for the girls, and here's some kind of latte with watery skim milk instead of cheesecake. Latte with watery skim milk, and instead of cheesecake, they'd get one of those bar things which look like sticks and twigs glued together, and then talk about how it's all they needed to stay full, he said. Now I felt like an immature little kid with my order, but it was what I liked. Plus, I knew those girls ate cheesecake and ice cream when the guys weren't around. Sure, I got uncomfortable eating in front of boys, but not because I didn't want to admit I liked food, but because I was the messiest eater ever. I was always dropping food or spilling something on myself. Even my parents used to say I should stick to an all-clear meal plan or forego anything lighter than navy. It was like I forgot how to use a knife and fork in front of guys. They have no problem gorging on the brownies I bake when you aren't all around, I said. They always talk about working out in front of you guys, but they never bring it up when it's just the girls sitting there. Yeah, Harlow and Tanner go on and on about yoga like they invented it. I nodded. I tried it once, but honestly, it was the first and last time I'd ever worn yoga pants to do actual yoga. Zach laughed. We got our snacks, and then I led him over to the table by the window where we could see the trees. I love watching how chaotic the outdoors looks in a storm when I'm safe and dry inside, I said. You know, I can almost see the park from my bedroom window. Yeah, once the leaves are completely off the trees, you'll have a much better view, he said. Although I'll never know because I think your dad would kill me if I ever ventured in the direction of your bedroom. I giggled. Probably, but my parents are handling this dating thing much better than I thought they would. They didn't have a panic attack when I texted them about you coming over tonight to watch the game. My theory is there's one of those spy nanny cams in the room watching us, so it seems like your mum and dad are out of the room, but in reality, we're under surveillance and they're observing our every move. Now, well, maybe my mum, but Dad's too big of a football fan to take his eyes off the TV. He keeps saying, this is the year, I can feel it. We're going to be pretty good this year, maybe even go all the way. Of course, he's been saying that for as long as I can remember. My dad's the same way. He keeps talking about this one playoff game they made it to 1,000,000 years ago. And my mum said, you do realise that other teams go to this thing called the Super Bowl, don't you? Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't get divorced. Your mum didn't grow up here, did she? He shook his head. Nope, she doesn't get the whole loyalty thing, even when the fans are wearing a paper bag over their heads. It's important to be loyal, and that's why I'm lucky to have you, he said, and smoothed my hair over my shoulder. I could feel my face getting red again. Oh, I'm getting a text, I said, grateful for the interruption. I was so new to all this boyfriend-girlfriend stuff. Sometimes I froze at the sweet romantic moments. Even now I should have followed up with something cutesy and flirty. And instead I took the first distraction which came along. Harlow wouldn't have done that. She would have given her seductive look and said something flirty back. I picked up my phone and saw in the reflection I had a tiny bit of whipped cream on my upper lip. Harlow would have managed to keep the dairy off her face too. Who's it from? Zach asked. Your other man? Ha ha, funny. It is about my other man, I said. What? Harlow's back straightened. Harlow was telling me earlier that audition for Andrew Holliday's new video. You know he's shooting in town. Zach rolled his eyes. No one has shot a video in this town since like 1980-something, and even then it was a one-hit wonder band. She says this is happening, and remember, he grew up in her hair. If you tell me the next month is going to be all about Andrew this and Andrew that, I will seriously throw myself off a bridge. Well, don't plan your funeral for a day when auditions are, because I will be in line then, and how will it look if I blow off your service for my chance to get discovered? I asked, smiling. Teasing, I'm just joking. I know you're not, but let's pretend you mean it, he said. Anyway, Harlow's planning to try out. Her modelling agent got her a private audition with a producer, so she doesn't have to wait in line like everyone else. I thought the whole point of an open audition was to give everybody an equal chance to try out, he asked. I shrugged. Harlow has her ways. My phone rang and Harlow's name popped up. I'll call her later, I said. No, it's cool. I have to use the restroom anyway, he said, getting up. Hey, Cecily, it's Harlow. Listen, I want you to come with me to my audition and you can meet Andrew, she said. Wait, what? Why would she do that? I thought it would make me less nervous to bring someone along, for moral support. I can't promise I will let you in the room when I go in, but I will do my best to get you the chance to at least gaze upon his hotness. Plus, it would look good if I had, an entourage with me. At first I was flattered, but I did wonder why she'd asked me. Then it hit me. She probably picked me because Tanner and her other friends were definitely hotter. And I'd be no competition for her. Still, getting the chance to meet Andrea was worth it, even if I was being chosen as her less hot friend. Okay, thanks. We meet them on Wednesday after school. My mum can drive us. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to the live chat reading. I hope you enjoyed it and you'll go check out the book. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.